When your body sends you signals, that racing heart, those tightening shoulders, the sudden urge to flee, it's not malfunctioning. These aren't glitches to fix or problems to solve. They're sophisticated messengers carrying ancient wisdom we're only beginning to understand. And today, we're going to decode their language together. This isn't another just breathe through it tutorial or think positive manifesto. This is about discovering something revolutionary, the hidden intelligence within your most uncomfortable moments. It's about learning to speak the language of your body's protection system. When something sends your nervous system into overdrive, your first instinct might be to suppress these sensations or create a story about why they're happening. You might feel an overwhelming urge to analyze the situation, to remind yourself of all the reasons why you need to stay on guard. This isn't weakness, it's your internal protection system doing exactly what it was designed to do. But here's where we begin to shift things. Instead of fighting these sensations or getting lost in the story about them, I want you to try something different. When these sensations arise, describe them as if you were communicating symptoms to your doctor. Not, I'm panicking, but there's a rapid fluttering in my chest. Not, I'm anxious, but my shoulders are drawing inward and there's a tingling sensation in my fingertips. This isn't just semantic gymnastics. It's the first step in transforming your relationship with these protective responses. Think of it this way. You're learning to be a translator for your body's language. Each sensation is like a word in an ancient dialect that we've forgotten how to speak. The racing heart? That's your inner warrior saying, I'm here to protect you. The tightening throat? Your internal scout preparing to sound an alarm. Now here's where most people get stuck, and it's absolutely crucial to understand this part. You'll notice there's a part of you that doesn't want to let go of the story. It feels sticky, resistant. It keeps pulling you back to all the reasons why you need to stay alert, why you can't possibly relax in this situation, why you need to find a solution to it. This isn't just stubbornness. It's another protector, perhaps your most devoted one. This storytelling part of you is like a historian working alongside your security team. While your body prepares for fight or flight, this historian keeps the narrative alive, documenting every reason you can't afford to lower your guard. And here's the key. This resistance to letting go of the story isn't something to overcome. It's another ally to befriend. Try this. The next time you feel that resistance, that sticky attachment to the story, acknowledge it directly. Say to it, I see how hard you're working to keep me safe. I understand why you don't want to let go. Thank you for your dedication. This isn't just positive thinking. It's about creating a collaborative, up-to-date relationship with your protective system. Here's why this approach is so powerful. Your brain processes symbolic and literal experiences in remarkably similar ways. When you speak to these parts of yourself, your nervous system responds as if you're engaged in actual dialogue. The same neural pathways activate whether you're having a conversation with a friend or mindfully addressing your own protective mechanisms. This isn't just poetic imagination, it's how your brain is wired to function. When you thank that sticky, resistant part, when you acknowledge its service, your brain registers this as a real interaction, initiating genuine neurological shifts. This is why visualization and metaphor work so effectively in healing. Your brain translates these symbolic conversations into tangible, physiological changes. When you engage with your protective parts this way, you're literally rewiring neural pathways, creating new possibilities for how your nervous system can respond. And this brings us to a fascinating paradox, a paradigm shift that might surprise you. What if the most threatening thing to your nervous system isn't danger, but peace? When you've spent years in survival mode, calmness can feel more foreign than chaos. It's like telling a lifetime lifeguard to suddenly enjoy a day at the beach doing nothing. It feels wrong, precisely because it's so right. Let's practice this transformation together. The next time you encounter a triggering situation, follow these steps. First, acknowledge the physical sensations without trying to change them. Your body is speaking. Just listen. And when I say sensations, I mean only what your body has actual receptors for. The pressure, temperature, and movement you can feel in your tissues, any tastes or smells that arise, the sounds you hear, what your eyes can see. Stay with pure sensation, tingles, warmth, contraction, expansion. Anything beyond these concrete sensory experiences is already stepping into story territory. Your body communicates through these basic sensory channels, and learning to stay with just these physical sensations is like learning to speak its native language. Second, notice the story that wants to take over. Don't fight it, but don't get lost in it either. Just observe it like you're watching clouds pass across the sky. If you find the story is particularly sticky and powerful, and it often will be, try this profound inquiry. Ask yourself what would actually happen if you let this story go, even just for a few minutes. But here's the crucial part. Don't answer with your thinking mind. Instead, let your body reveal the truth. You might be surprised to discover that without the story, your body naturally moves toward ease. If resistance comes up, and it likely will, that's also information from your body, not a problem to solve. Third, engage with these sensations and stories as if they're loyal protectors trying their best to help, because that's exactly what they are. This represents a revolutionary shift in how we approach our uncomfortable sensations. For years, we've been taught to see these constricting, unpleasant feelings as enemies to be conquered or problems to be solved. But what if we've had it backward all this time? When you bring genuine curiosity to these sensations and open to the possibility that they're actually trying to help, something remarkable begins to happen. Through repetition and patience, your entire relationship with these protective responses transforms. This isn't just positive thinking, it's about fundamentally changing how you relate to your own internal protection system. Here's where the magic starts to happen. As you practice this approach, you'll begin to notice something fascinating. The very sensations that once felt overwhelming start to feel more like waves of information. Each trigger becomes an opportunity to practice this new way of being with your experience. The transformation process has a natural rhythm. Acknowledge, observe, engage. Let's break this down because this rhythm is crucial to understand. When you acknowledge, you're saying, "Yes, I see you," to whatever is arising in your body. It's like opening the door to a visitor. You don't have to invite them to stay forever, but you're willing to see who's there. This acknowledgement needs to be genuine, not just a quick nod on your way to trying to feel better. Then you observe, which means you become the scientist again, noting the pure sensations we talked about earlier. This observation isn't cold or clinical, it's curious and open. You're gathering information without jumping to conclusions. Think of it like watching waves on the ocean. You're not trying to control them, you're just noticing their patterns, their intensity, their rhythm. Finally, you engage, and this is where the real alchemy happens. Engagement means entering into relationship with these sensations and the protective parts that create them. It's like turning towards someone you've been avoiding and saying, "I'm ready to understand you better." This engagement transforms what was once a monologue of resistance into a dialogue of discovery. These steps aren't linear. They create a spiral pattern, each cycle taking you deeper into understanding and integration. Sometimes you'll need to acknowledge again in the middle of observing or return to observation after engagement. The rhythm adapts to what you need in each moment, but the dance always includes these three essential movements. So, don't expect your protective system to change overnight. Remember, these patterns developed over years, maybe decades. They're like loyal guard dogs that learned their behaviors during times of real danger. We're not trying to get rid of them, we're gently retraining them for your current reality. As you continue this practice, you'll discover something remarkable. The energy that once fueled panic can transform into empowerment. The tension that once signaled danger can become a source of boundary-setting power. The hypervigilance that once exhausted you can evolve into heightened awareness of what truly serves you. This work requires presence and patience. When your heart races, resist the urge to immediately calm it. Instead, see it as life force energy available for transformation. When your throat tightens, explore what this protective mechanism might be trying to communicate. Each sensation becomes a doorway to deeper understanding. The beauty of this approach lies in its respect for your internal complexity. We're not trying to eliminate parts of you or override natural responses. Instead, we're creating an internal environment where all parts of you feel heard and valued, even as they learn new ways of helping. Think of it like turning a fortress into a garden. The same walls that once kept others out can become the structure supporting new growth. Your protective mechanisms aren't being dismantled, they're being repurposed. This process isn't about reaching a point where you never get triggered. It's about developing a new relationship with your triggers, one where they become doorways to deeper understanding rather than walls you crash into. The intensity of the trigger often correlates with the potential for transformation hidden within it. As you work with these practices, you'll notice something profound. Your relationship with yourself begins to shift. The parts of you that once felt like adversaries reveal themselves as allies. The very presence that once triggered fear becomes a teacher, showing you which aspects of yourself are ready for integration and growth. Remember, this journey isn't about reaching a destination. It's about developing a new way of being with your experience. Each day brings fresh opportunities to practice this art of emotional alchemy, turning what once threatened you into allies on your path of growth. Also, this work ripples out beyond your personal healing. As you learn to work with your own protective mechanisms more skillfully, you naturally develop more compassion for others caught in their own protective patterns. What once divided becomes a source of connection. As we conclude, remember that this approach isn't about adding more tools to your emotional management toolkit. It's about fundamentally shifting how you relate to your internal experience. Every trigger, every uncomfortable sensation is an invitation to deeper understanding and integration. The path forward isn't about fighting against your protective mechanisms, it's about honoring their service while gently guiding them toward new ways of helping you navigate life's challenges. In doing so, you don't just heal past wounds, you transform your entire relationship with your emotional world. If this perspective on emotional healing resonates with you, share this video with someone who might benefit. Subscribe for more insights into transformative healing, and leave a comment about your own experience with emotional triggers. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Thank you so much for watching. This is Ayla, signing off.